Before we dive into everything that's happened this week, let's talk a little bit about how we got here. Tell me why you ran for president in the first place. How did that even come about?
I spoke about things which the Romanian people, they are waiting for more than 35 years, which does mean family, God, land, prosperity, and private property. And I put on the table a program, a national program called Food, Water, and Energy. Similar, which President Trump and particularly Kennedy, the Secretary of State, they are talking to refresh, to rebuild the agriculture, and to be a healthy nation. Okay?
When you talk about God and family and prosperity, I'm trying to understand why that's described as far right. Because to me, that seems like what most people want.
Yeah, but never was happened. And I demonstrate how we can do that. With in other words, all the things which I said, they are coming from my soul, from my heart, and was a direct communication with the people. And also, we discuss about how we can have our sovereignty and to not depend about others, to be independent financially, right. Totally. And also, Tim, I spoke about peace. And this was the alarm of the system when I spoke about peace, because they are looking for war. And I said, nobody will move one finger, just peace will be, okay? And the system was in panic, was in the alarm when they hear peace. And also I said that the only strategical partner before anything else, before anybody else, is just United States. And in this moment, they were totally desperate, you know.
A lot of people were surprised when you came in first in November, but leading up to that, you had to feel that momentum. You had to know something was going on. Tell me about the feeling leading into it.
They show us, in particular the last 2 days, when they arrest me in the most communist act, and still in the street, you know. And for things which, of course, I have nothing to do with those things which they accuse me. But this is a style which I have seen also to my father, to my grandfathers, and all of us, we know about this, how it was before 1989. So it's the same situation. And we find also that all this situation expose their corruption and their communism regime. So here we are. And I think Tim, we made history. We wrote history already, because they didn't believe that the Romanian people can wake up and can decide for his own. Because always they said, we shall decide for you. And the Romanian people in November the last year, they said, we decide, not you, the system.
This had to be an emotional roller coaster ride, because on election night and in the days immediately thereafter, you had to be jubilant until it came to a screeching halt, when suddenly the court reversed its own decision and said, we're going to declare this null and void. Tell me what the feelings were when the court system tried to pull the rug out.
Very good question. You know, 9 people plus another one, the former president, Iohannis, they decide for 19 million, or in fact for 9 million people. So again, 9 people decide for 9 million, just in one moment. And by the way, you know that already on Friday, December 6th, the last year, outside of Romania, they started the vote. And they canceled the vote illegally and unconstitutionally in the afternoon. Already they vote more than 45,000 people. And we didn't expect, of course. And of course, it was a shock. But after that, I realized that it's good for us. And today, I underline, I'm stressed to you that was very good what's happened that, because they exposed totally the corruption and the deep state was exposed totally today.
I was in Brussels 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there were protests there, waving the Romanian flag, people upset about what had happened to you. And then when I talked to some of them, they were describing for me the huge protests back in Romania and the spontaneity, the frustration of the people. How is it that all that has come about like that? Sometimes you see these things and they are orchestrated, but it certainly appears by the size of the crowd and how big they are. These are people that are just upset.
Not only that, look, I find, or in fact, I feel how I have to do for my people, which I love and I wish to serve my country, to serve my nation, and to serve my citizenship in order to be free. And for this reason, I started exactly from freedom. So in other words, I made with my small team as volunteers, few pictures. I put on the social media and I said, we have no money, nothing. Each of you, if you want this program, food, water, and energy, and myself to serve you, do how you want. You are free. In the moment when the people, they feel they are free, genuine free, and to have their own creativity, to go their own, how they want, they made a campaign. Simply they made a campaign. Of course, was my narrative permanently in order to empower them,
right,
and to say how beauty there are, how much courage they have, how strong they are. But in principle, was their creativity, Tim. Just their creativity. The freedom give flies to them. And we are free. We are free. And we are strongly believe in our freedom. This is all.
Things escalated to a whole different level this past week. You were detained by the police. There were charges. There was a whole thing there. But let's talk about what you were doing. Was that unexpected? Were you surprised? What were you doing in the moment where that occurred?
Well, simply they stopped me. I don't know how many there are in the street. I was in the car. They stopped the car. They checked the driver, and after they come to me and they said that I'm arrested, and I have to go with them. And I called my lawyer, and I was go in their car, go to the general court, and inside, they keep me for, almost 6 hours for nothing, absolutely for nothing.
And did they tell you when they were getting you out of the car why they were doing this?
No. They present to me a document, and based on this document, I spoke with my lawyer, with my accusations, which they said different stuff of that there, which is totally not true. And I wait my lawyer, and they were, four lawyers with me, and we took the papers, we signed, and after that, they said that I'm in the investigation for the next 60 days. And that's it for the moment. I mean, simply everything was prepared before. I mean, just
and you said 60 days, and coincidentally, it's roughly 60 days until the next election.
Of course.
An amazing coincidence.
Yeah, amazing or not coincidence. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The-
So it's a gesture that show to us that they have the power, but they don't know that the people they have the power. So
Now,
that's it.
if I understand this correctly, when they pulled you over in that car, you were actually on your way to fill out the paperwork to be on the ballot in May. Is that right?
Exactly, for the ballot. Exactly. So I was on my way in order to sign the documents. So they stopped me, and after that I was to the court.
Will you be on the ballot in May? Have they effectively stopped you, or is there still a way for you to do that?
In this moment, when me and we are talking now, I have the possibility, of course, to go, but never know what will happen tomorrow.
Right. As you know too well.
Yeah, indeed.
Now, with this latest chapter, with the arrest, with the charges, the accusations, how is the public? How are the people of Romania responding?
Do you know what was absolutely fabulous, magnific, in the moment when I was in the court? After the next 10 minutes, there were hundreds and hundreds of people outside who asked for my freedom and to go out and to, was a mass of people outside, which was incredible. I mean, it was like a manifestation. So it was incredible. How many
when you mentioned the 60 days, is there any prohibition during that 60 days? Are you prohibited from being on social media? Are you prohibited from communicating in any way? Or can you still go about business as usual?
Not only. No, I mean, there are few issues, few things which I have to consider, to don't speak, don't talk about few things, which of course I'm not allowed to disclose, but of course my lawyers, they can talk about that.
Right.
This is the rule, let's say. And in principle, yes, I can say I can go to the interviews or I can go public, but of course I have to be prudent in what I have to say.
What I try to understand here is your election system's a little different than ours in that you have multiple candidates. You had more than a dozen candidates. And if no one gets more than 50%, those top two have a runoff, in essence. But when I looked at the results, 3 out of the top 4 were conservative or at least center right. And I thought, this is clearly a movement. This isn't just you doing something. Clearly, the public is not happy with the direction you currently are, and they're looking for a change in the way Romania is run. And yet somehow they're trying to pin this on you.
Yeah. The most important point is just myself as independent. I won in front of the traditional party, Social Democrats and Liberals, which in fact I won in front of them, which they were very, very far from me. And the paradox is that the Liberal Party, which actually was in the bottom, now he has the power in the country.
Right.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Is there any moment, just as a human being, as a person, setting aside politics for a minute, is there any moment during this whole process, from November till the arrest this week, that you've thought to yourself, gosh, I wish I didn't do this?
No, I was sure, and I'm sure I trust in God and in my land, in my people, and I'm sure that we shall succeed. No way for that. So the only things which I want to mention to you, in relationship with the United States, is that I'm looking that United States can see carefully and can act on the subject that the respect of United States is coming from the flag of democracy and freedom, correct? All of us, we know that. So now the flag of democracy and freedom is failed in Romania. maybe also in other countries, but I'm speaking now about Romania. So if this flag is failed in Romania, can fail also in other states. With all the respect, I think that President Trump and Vice President Vance can act, because we cannot leave, because it could be a precedent everywhere, in any country, in any moment. Look what's happened in Germany as well.
Right.
It's not easy. This could be again a precedent regarding and related with the dictatorship. And we are in the year 2025. Moreover, the same accusation of President Trump before, they are the same accusation to me, just they changed the name as a copy-paste. Changed the name Trump with Georgescu, but in fact is the same.
You're absolutely right. You look, when he won his first election, there was immediately a claim that there had been Russian influence, and that was why he had won the election. It turned out to be completely false, but that was the accusation. That's what has gone on with you. And then there are other pieces of that puzzle that are similar. It's ridiculous how similar the situation is to 2016, 2017.
I am telling you something. I'm happy, and I said public this, that what happened is in December 6th, because otherwise I cannot understand, believe me, how deep is a deep state. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's a fabulous. I mean, because simply on the 8th, for sure, I won, and but this is not the case to win. The case is to understand what you have to do, because the point is not only to arrive on the top, what you are doing next. This is very important, related with your consciousness.
Right.
So I am very proud about my Romanian people, and I'm very happy that the deep state acted as disparates to cancel the vote and to cancel everything illegally and unconstitutionally, because now they expose how big, huge is the corruption inside them.
Right.
So now I know what I have to do. You know, and this is the beauty, because instead of producing things to use, we are used by the oligarchs system. You understand my point? And we don't have to allow this. We are free men. We are no slaves. No slaves. And we have our country, our land, and nobody is allowed to intervene inside us.
Călin Georgescu, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you doing this with us, and we wish you the very best.
I appreciate very much.